So, yeah.
No.
So feel free, guys, to adjust your microphones. Get going here in just a minute. I always, like to have it about a fist away and around there.
Just away.
Yeah, just about there.
Just away. That sounds like a drink.
Yeah.
It's a new wine.
Yeah, it's a new. The place of
You
dreams.
had too many. A little closer.
Yeah. Okay. How we doing? I'm in focus. We're in focus. All right. Okay, that looks great. Things are moving.
Awesome.
Good. Like Sammy's so serious.
I gotta know what the beat is.
I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
We good? Yeah.
Real
Okay.
good.
So,
Do you hear us right now?
Perfect.
okay, we ready? All right.
We're good. We're good.
We're good. Yeah.
And camera one. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Wine Stuff and Wine podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Perry, with my co-hosts, Jesse and Evan McDonald. I almost did the switch there. And we are blessed today to have two people who are very close to me. And, I know you guys are super busy. You got harvest coming up soon, but you spared us an hour of your time, and we really appreciate it. So we got Joe Perry,
Thank you.
Tony Mori from Perridiso Winery, and why don't you just kind of introduce yourself and talk a little bit about Paradiso?
Sure. No problem. I'm Joe.
Antonia or Tony.
Antonia.
Tony for short. And we are partners in Perridiso Estate Winery. And
That's
we make
amazing.
some quality wines for you to try.
I love it.
It's
And,
awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
we are going to get into a little bit of your story, but we've got some wine.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And last time we did this, I had the pleasure of opening the wine and pouring it and probably
Yes.
doing it all wrong. So today we've got some pros. They're going to do it the right way. They're going to tell us how to do this. We're going to go through a proper wine tasting and learn a little bit about this wine. So why don't you tell us which wine you chose?
Absolutely. Today we're going to be trying the Cabernet Reserve. It is a 2016 blend of Cabernet Sauvignon grapes and Merlot. The percentage is 80 to 20. 20% Merlot, 80% Cabernet.
Nice.
And it is a wonderful tasting wine.
Nice.
Can I pour you some?
Yes, please.
Wonderful.
So, Jesse, what do you prefer, red or white? We had white last time.
You know what? I probably do prefer white.
Yeah.
But out of all the reds, Merlot is one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she just she prefers champagne.
You don't make that.
Yeah, I like red's my go-to, but yeah, I'm like you.
The
You
thing
get a lot of
is,
mics to work around there.
I've never drank a ton, so it's like I'm just starting to really understand wine and appreciate wine. So I think sometimes it's easier for a newbie to start with whites and then they graduate to the reds.
Sure, that's a good progression. I think today we're going to go through a little tasting tip.
Yeah.
Okay? So, what is etiquette? The way we hold our glass, the way we look at wine. So, if you wouldn't mind just grabbing the glass.
Yeah. There you go, Joe.
That's it. Thank you, Andrew. So, the very first thing you do is, this is stemware. So, stemware you hold from the stem and not the bowl. Holding it from the bowl, you're going to heat up the wine. You're going to change the temperature of the wine. It's going to affect the taste of the wine. Also, what do you do when you have wine? You have food. If it's
Right.
finger food, now your finger food's going to get all over the rim. It's going to make it look really messy. I don't like drinking from a glass that's dirty. I don't know about you.
No.
Yeah.
So what do? We look at the wine. The very first thing you do is glance, look at the wine, look for some visible notes, look for color and clarity. Can you see through it? Is it opaque? Let's hope there's no suspended particles in there, things that are floating around. So you just want to check it out. And let me just give you a little hint. This time of year, this is harvest. Grapes are ripe. There's all kinds of flies, bees, insects. Check your glass before you put it to your mouth. We've had some incidences with bees flying in the wine. Not pleasant. Not pleasant at all.
No. I've had a bee in a beer can.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous. So we can see that the clarity is fine. It's got a nice deep color to it.
Yes.
Then you would swirl it. We call these Joe's 3 S's. You swirl, sniff, but when you do, you try to identify any floral or fruit flavors that you can identify, that you can say, oh yeah, that smells like a rose petal.
That was very nice.
I'm trying to see if I can like distinguish like something, because I'm not quite there yet on the wine smell.
Palate's
level.
not as
Yeah, but
distinguished. It will. You will.
Got to work on it.
And I can see that there's some people that might be struggling freehand to swirl your glass. Make
Yeah.
circles on top of the desk.
Yes.
Okay.
Like that. It'll open up. You want that wine to aerate. You want it to breathe. You want oxygen to get in there and open it up a bit. Yeah,
And that's kind of why people like slurp too, right? Oxidize the wine.
that's absolutely right.
So then, what should I be pulling out of this right now? I got it swirled. I'm taking a sniff. What should I be pulling out of it?
Can you identify any fruit?
Grapes.
Perfect.
He's smelling a grape.
We're on the right
There's
track
no
so
wrong
far.
answers. Everybody has a
wrong
different. Yeah.
Spilled it all over myself.
It
just
actually
did.
it smells very nice though.
I'm trying to
It
swirl.
is.
Glass 20?
Hey.
There you go.
This
That's
Oh,
is
there
it.
it is.
sweet.
I get a really deep cherry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about strawberry and raspberry?
Yeah.
The
A
red
little
berries.
raspberry, yeah.
The red berries tend to come out on this wine, and it'll come out more as the temperature in here warms it up a bit.
That dark chocolate.
Interesting.
And then the other S, or the last S, would be sip. But when you do, you hold it on your palate. You don't swallow it right away.
Okay.
You want your palate to adjust to the taste that's coming in, and never judge a wine by its first taste. You could have had lunch, you could have had gum, you could have had a coffee. It's going to interfere with the taste of this wine, especially when it's a very good wine.
Right.
So you just want to make sure that you hold it in your palate.
So you took a breath there. So tell me about that.
It's called breathing.
Yeah.
Andrew's right. You're oxidizing wine. You're bringing in oxygen. You're bringing in air. You want it to open up because you want to maximize the flavor profile from the wine. So what does that do? The molecules collide inside your mouth. The heat of your mouth expands the beverage or the wine, and you can pick out. You're going to go, okay, my second, third sip. Oh yeah, there's a cherry. There's a strawberry.
Yeah.
I'm starting to pick up something I can't identify, but it's there. You just don't know what it is yet. And that's what happens as you continue to drink or sip the glass.
Nice.
So, Joe, ideally, what is, because this is a very strong, bold, powerful wine. So, what is it that is a good food pairing?
With this wine, a lot of people say that red meat is good with
Right.
red wine.
Yeah.
And I would say that's accurate. If you like that, that's fine. But I like wild game with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was hoping you'd go there.
Yeah, and wild game, we have a friend of ours named Luke.
Yeah, Big Luke, yeah.
And he does a little bit of hunting, and he brings down some venison and some duck. As a matter of fact, just yesterday we had some grilled duck with this, and
Nice.
it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. This wine has got a little bit more of a fruit flavor to it, so this would really go with lean meats. If it had more of a tannin structure, like it just tingled the back of your cheeks, you would probably want something that has more marbleized fat content to it, like a prime rib or something like that. But this beautiful lean meat would be fantastic with this.
Yeah.
So you had duck with it recently.
Yes,
That's interesting.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Nice. Because I would think that duck would be something you'd pair with a white.
Well,
But
duck is like dark,
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a little different.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
It's closer to like a wild turkey, where like the shoulders,
Yes.
or drumstick breast, or underneath the breast there with all the dark meat. That's kind of.
But then I could see like because we've got some family in northern New Brunswick that are big hunters.
Oh, yeah. I can see
So
that.
I've had like the real gamey
Yes.
deer, that type of thing. So I could see that this would kind of like break that up,
It would break it up.
right?
Exactly.
And kind of like level
Tame
that
it.
flavor out. Yeah, tame it.
Yeah.
Tame the animal.
That's
So
awesome.
I have a question about going back to the glasses. Why is it then that some glasses now don't have a stem?
Yeah, that. Go ahead, Andrew.
No. So I was just saying it's probably just for comfortability than anything.
Yeah, convenience.
Okay.
Oh, probably for looks and style.
Yeah, every time there's change. You're gonna always have stemware. This isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
There's just gonna be other products that people will be pushing to try to push their wine in a different way.
yeah.
I mean, bottom line, if you don't have stemware, you're gonna use a glass that you have
Yeah.
drink wine from. Could be a mug.
We've been at events where wine comes in a plastic cup too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's still there you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I definitely prefer the stemware one.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it has a look and elegance to it in its own right.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think-
Actually, at your place, we always fight over that. We keep breaking the glasses. So Joe's, I think, got one left with the big bowl on.
Yeah.
Like, oh, everybody wants that one.
Thank you for reminding me about that, Andrew.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're breaking them all.
I don't know. It could be one of the 3 crazy kids we have.
And that's funny because Jesse, make a good point. The type of glassware that you use really affects the outcome and taste of the wine.
Yeah.
And there's different glasses that are shaped differently to actually pronounce the different wines and flavors in those wines.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more to wine than you'd think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think like the bigger, stronger reds, that's where you get the larger glasses, so that because it needs more oxygen to
really
help bring out the flavor.
really
Correct.
open it
Whereas
up.
something like your flutes, that wouldn't for champagne, that wouldn't necessarily need all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all the flavor, and the bubbles probably help get it all out too.
Well, even when you got here probably, close to an hour ago, and the first thing you did was open the bottle to let
Yes.
it breathe, right?
Exactly.
And that's the whole point for a decanter, right?
Yep.
I think, right? That's why it's designed to like pour it in. It goes.
Yeah, and moving it around just
Scientific.
like that
Yeah.
in the decanter really helps. And just a little generality, the older the wine, the longer you should decant it. If this is a 5-year-old wine, you can open this up an hour prior to consuming it, and it should be fine. But I always just keep in mind aerating it. And you look at the structure of this wine as you swirl. I'm noticing the glasses here. You can see that the droplets on the side of the glass are very long, starting from the top to the bottom. That's an indication of there's a lot of alcohol here.
Full
Perfect.
body.
Full bodied.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah,
Good.
it's all about
See
the
if
full
we can
body.
get all the way through the
Exactly.
Yeah.
show. I'll put the mic under the table for the
No
end.
promises.
Yeah.
So that's what full body means, a higher level of alcohol?
It can. It's
Okay.
but the droplets that you see on the side of the glass are an indication of the amount of alcohol in the glass. So
Okay.
the longer those droplets, some people call them legs,
Yeah.
the higher the alcohol in the glass. And that holds true for brandy or a scotch. You just look at the side of the rim and you'll see how it descends down the side of the glass.
Yeah. So there's a lot more to wine than you think, but there's also a lot more to you guys than wine, right? So let's get into your
Very
story a little bit. We had a brief introduction of who you guys are, and I'm sure people watching will have a sense of who you are, especially knowing Morey Gardens. Morey Gardens is famous in Niagara-On-The-Lake.
if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Definitely.
the two of you have an incredible story. We were chatting a little bit earlier. I don't know where you want to start.
Anywhere.
One of the things that I would like to start with is how did you get into the wine industry? How did you guys meet?
that's a cool story.
let's get a bit of romance here.
I don't think I even asked you that question before.
Wow. How long do we have for this podcast? Anyway.
Pardon me?
get closer to the mic. Don't be scared.
Well, how did we meet, Tony? We met actually at a wine festival.
Yeah.
Ice
Wow.
wine festival.
Ice Wine Festival, so it's very
Naturally.
appropriate that we're here
Yes.
and talking about this.
Yeah.
It was the Ice Wine Festival.
Yeah, in Jordan.
Yes, and I remember that day very well.
Yeah, me too. Big,
Yeah.
big snowflakes.
Exactly.
It was beautiful. Yeah.
And she just walked by, and I recognized her from a previous event that we were at, and just said, "Hello, how you doing? Would you like a glass of wine?" And then she said, "I don't drink."
Wait,
We'll have to change that.
That is true. I didn't drink.
So partners at the winery, but you didn't drink.
Not at all.
No, nothing.
Wow.
Well, because I was funny is there's a lot. You guys have a lot of in common,
Okay.
and I don't want to interrupt the story, but I'm sure we could touch about that too. But you were very into fitness, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, I was doing, you won't guess it now, but I was doing bodybuilding at the time
Okay.
when I met. And, but yeah, I hadn't had anything to drink for like almost 30 years, 30 years. Yeah.
30 years. Wow.
Yeah, and I could see just like from like just briefly meeting you, you're a smooth talker. So you had her drinking that night, didn't you?
After, it wasn't that night. It was the night after.
It was a few years later.
Yeah, actually, she's right. So I have to tell you, so when we went Tony's place, she didn't drink, but she had wine in her cupboards. I said, "Wow, how long have these wines been here?"
They were gifts.
Yeah, they were gifts, you know. But what do? You put them away. And she offered me a glass of wine, and it was terrible because it was old and outdated, and she never drank, so who knows how long they were there. But eventually, as we saw each other, I made wine all the time. I've been making wine forever, it seems like. But she said, "Oh, this isn't bad." I said, "Yeah, well, this is our homemade wine, and this is what we do." So slowly, she just took to it.
Yeah, and I can't stop.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's been smooth sailing ever since.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. So wine, you came together with wine. That's a great story.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now you have. So tell us a little bit about the winery. Tell us a little bit how you got there, because I know that you have a bit of a background there from your family in, where was it again?
In Italy, in Calabria.
What was the name of it?
Calabria.
Calabria.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So expand on that a little bit. Let's get some of the background.
Yeah. Well, my mom and dad were both winemakers in Italy. But when they came here in the late 50s, like the immigration boom, like a lot of the immigrants at that time, there was no industry in this area in Canada. So they had to find other jobs. But it didn't stop my dad from making wine like every other immigrant did over the years, every year, in the cellar, in the basement, in the backyard, wherever you could. And I could vividly remember being 10 years old and stomping on grapes in a big vat and collecting juice. And little did I know that all that information and all that production in those days would help me today to, own a winery and make wine to the quality that we do. So everything you learn in life really comes back to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So here we are with Perridiso Estate Winery.
So the property then. What was the property? Was there grapes on the property when you got the property?
No, it was an abandoned orchard and overgrown brush. A lot of people were having bush parties there. And celebrating.
At the end of the road, yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the road. And that suddenly changed when I got there. So we bulldozed everything, clean start, build a house. Friends of mine all made wine, so we decided to put some grapes in and sell it to my friends who made wine and all over the place, and it just kept growing.
So
That's
how
awesome.
long ago did you buy it?
About 25 years ago.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
And then so this vineyard, how old is it?
The vineyard itself is 21 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we started pretty pretty close to, as soon as we had the house, it was like the industry was starting to take off. So there was a lot of interest in the wine industry. This is very, very new to the area. 21 years ago, things were getting better in the industry. Prior to that, I can honestly tell you that there was a lot of need for improvement in the wine industry, but definitely gotten better over the years.
Yeah.
For sure.
Wow, mature. That's a mature vineyard, though. That's pretty impressive.
It's very nice. Actually, hey, Tony, you would say it looks a bit like Tuscany, sitting in the back
Tuscany. That's
there. Yeah. Well, speaking of what it looks like, this is really cool. This is something that I didn't know until today. If you take a look at the bottles, that's an actual picture of the backyard and what you see from your back.
Yes.
And then it's the escarpment. Can you explain, like, there's the one picture's got a picture of a hiker and making his way through the trail. Very cool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it was a rainy day. It all starts off like that.
It's a rainy day.
Yeah. So my son took a picture of the wood and conservation area that is actually right behind us and beside us on the property. And he said, "Hey, Dad, take a look at this picture." I said, "Beautiful. That's the label. That's what we're going to use." So it became something that was very local. We didn't need to hire a designer from Montreal, Toronto, or anywhere. Put it on a label, becomes local as you can get. And as the different size of the bottles change the height of the escarpment, it represents the actual escarpment that goes, from Queenston to Topomori, right?
Yeah.
Bruce Trail.
The Bruce Trail. So the Bruce Trail. So cleverly, there is not on my part, but on my son's part, there is a hiker in one bottle, and there is a cabin or a chalet in another bottle. So it represents the Bruce Trail, the escarpment. It's that journey that people make. Every day they walk from one place to get to another, and it's a journey of life, right? It's the journey of the grape from the vine to the wine.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And that's another story too, is that obviously, so you guys live on the estate winery.
Correct.
And you're looking out your back window at any given time at the grapes, at the vines, and those vines are in the wine. It's from vine to wine. I love that.
Yeah.
It's all done on your property.
That's right.
That's really incredible on its own, that it's all like one-stop shop. I think it's cool that it's just, a small family business, and it's
You just touched on the word. It's family business, and it's small. And I would even say that we're probably the smallest winery in Niagara-On-The-Lake. Our productions aren't high. We don't want them to be high. We're not going to. We have absolutely no interest in putting any more buildings, any more vines in the ground. We are content just living in the moment of nature and what nature provides for us every day.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, that's a true passion, is what it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're not doing this for the money. You're not doing it for the fame. It's this is a passion project, and you love what you do.
Exactly.
That's very cool.
And it's really cool too, because when you think Niagara-on-the-Lake wine, it's relatively flat. Like when you're driving through Niagara-on-the-Lake, you can almost like see everywhere you turn. Where when you're at Perridiso, like you said, it looks like you're in Tuscany or somewhere. I think that's why people love it so much, is that it's really secluded, surrounded by a whole bunch of forest and trees and Bruce Trail and the escarpment up where the train tracks are. So it's almost, like
It's a hidden gem. That's
Yes.
what we always say. Like
Absolutely.
when you go, it's the edge of Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Yeah.
Totally different, right on the edge. And there we are, right? Nobody realizes it's the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake
That's
still.
right. Well, except a lot of Netflix people realize where it is.
Yes, they do.
That's true. That's true. That was very coincidental the other day. We get up and have a coffee, go for a walk, and then every day we have a ritual where we just check the news because we have to check the weather.
Yeah.
And as we're flicking through the guide, it said Dead Zone. You familiar with that movie, Dead Zone?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
know.
It sounds
Christopher
very
Walken's.
familiar. Yeah.
It's an old movie filmed entirely in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Oh,
And there's a scene that they shot right there at the tunnel, which is right across from the property that we have.
Yeah.
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 In 1983. Tell the story, Tony, about that.
Well, the gazebo in Niagara-On-The-Lake was built for that movie to be done there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh.
I presented it, and when you watch the movie, we watched it, and I'm like, I know all those places.
Yeah.
The Rand Estates,
Simcoe
Simcoe Park, St. Mark's,
Mark's Church.
St. Andrew's Church was in it. The town hall, that's the
Yeah.
ending scene is in
Yeah.
the town hall.
Well, now I gotta
or
watch
the
that movie.
courthouse.
Yeah,
It's
I gotta
now
watch it.
called
You
the
should.
courthouse.
It's Halloween. We're due for a scary movie.
This is why it was on. And
yeah.
guess what? That day, we were going to launch our wine called Screaming Tunnel Cabernet.
Yeah.
And how coincidental is the fact that we saw the tunnel on TV, and that day we decided, prior to that day, to launch the Screaming Tunnel wine at Perridiso.
Pretty interesting story about the Screaming Tunnel. I went there. It seems to be super popular. I went there with Hudson, I think. Was I with Hudson on Halloween last year?
Probably.
And we were in the Kubota, and we were just driving through I was trying to scare him. And there was like a female it, like this woman in a dress, and the it makeup. You know it?
Yeah.
The clown.
The clown.
And she's just standing there with the balloon, and we're driving by. We're like, what's going on? So it's pretty cool. You've got all these amazing kind of aspects of the property.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah.
Right?
You tried to scare
Yeah.
your son, and you scared yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I took a picture of it. But you know what? That's amazing. And Joe, we kind of got a little bit about your background. Tony, I'd like to, ask you a couple of questions. So, lifelong Niagara-on-the-Lake here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm born and raised here.
That's
Lived here
amazing.
all the time. Yeah.
And so, kind of walk me through what was Niagara-on-the-Lake. Not to touch in on, I don't want to ask your age or anything, but what was it like for you growing up?
in Niagara,
Yeah.
loved it. I mean, a small community. At that time, you knew everybody. Like the main area of town, of course, was more all the locals. So you knew everybody. We worked in town. We went to school at Niagara District, and it was great. You know everybody. You're part of a community. So then after school was done, I actually taught gymnastics. So I ran a club for a couple of years and got to meet a lot more people because we had lots of kids that were involved with the club. About 200 kids every year, and did that for a while, about 20 years. And then being at Maury Gardens, got to meet a lot of people. So small community is really great. Niagara-on-the-Lake's kind of transitioned from a mixture of small community and also sometimes I think a little bit of city life because it's small community because we have great neighbors. Community comes together whenever they need it. We have markets, we have school bazaars, we have church bazaars, we have all those things, wonderful things. And then we have part of the city life where, you have your theaters, your music, concerts.
Yes.
You have exposure, like Tragically Hip coming into town,
Yeah.
You have exposure to many, many arts,
Right.
many artists and retire here. And, when you get to see their livelihood because they still sell their art.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome, really.
So now, what about Maury Gardens recently retired, right?
Yes, that's
But
right.
Maury Gardens was such a big piece to, right on Highway 55. It was a big part of your life, obviously. And it was almost like a staple in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Yes.
And you guys have done a lot in terms of charity, events, Wells of Hope. I remember when I first met you guys were doing Passions, I think it was,
Passions,
right?
Passions, yeah.
Yeah. So what was that? How important was it to you, to give back to the community?
Well, being part of a small community and you're appreciative of your customers, your local people coming in. And I always felt that giving back was important. So couple of the things that we did, we always started off even with schools, graduations and things like that. We helped them beautify the outside and inside of their schools. We taught some classes even at the science classes. We did a lot of things for the service clubs like Rotary and Palliative Care and the Horticultural Society, which all give back to the community, but, you know, they needed sponsorship, or like for the Rotary, we decorated a house for their Christmas house tour for
Yes, I remember.
over 20 years. And, well, people loved coming, you know, and seeing the homes. And a big fundraiser for them. And we did Passions, which started off as a Rotary event and then ended up with Wells of Hope. But it was to raise money for the wells that were going on in Guatemala, water wells. So all those things were really important. And then the one thing that we also did that really we're very proud of is that we put a pathway around the park here in Virgil.
Yes.
And we wanted to make it a little bit like the Commons where the trees were on both sides.
Yes.
So the trees, we donated the trees. We put in the pathway, which is 0.8 kilometers around and is used by so many people.
Yes.
We're so, like, it just warms my heart when I see so many people using it, like on trikes, little kids
Yes.
using it, older people in their wheelchairs, walking their dogs, and, you know, things like that. It's just really good. So that was another contribution that we did to the town. So we've really been involved with the town a lot, which comes back to us again. You don't do it for that reason, but it comes back to us.
Yeah.
You know, and palliative care was also a very big event for us. You know, we've done a lot of things. When I think about it over the years, how many things like sports events and all kinds of things that we've done, you know, supporting a lot of teams, rowing and all that kind of thing. And even the kids. Like one of the things that when I have to say small town, the one thing that is kind of a little bit of a disadvantage right now is that we don't have a high school. Yes. And those kids would come and work for us after school. They'd, you know, be part of the community. That's what made it community life. Like even we still hang around with all our high school friends because we grew up in Niagara-On-The-Lake.
Right.
We go on trips together. And, you know, and that I feel is sad because those things would be a bit more missing in Niagara. So
You never
Well,
know. A lot.
I know.
The demographics are getting
changing, for sure.
younger and younger
yes,
for who's moving.
but we
Yeah.
fought.
That's
yeah.
good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good news.
But you know, like when Niagara District, Niagara District was a really special place for the community itself.
Yeah.
You know, teaching kids to be part of a smaller community too,
Right.
not always going to the big city, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've noticed that the kids on so many different levels are so much more involved in this community than, well, I mean, I've lived in a few towns over my life, Aurora, Barrie, Innisfil, Edmonton, and I just find like you're just walking Hudson around or whatever, and all the kids,
Yep.
hey, how's it going? How are you? How you doing? You know, one kid's cutting our grass. You know, it's almost like that picturesque kind of town. Niagara-on-the-Lake, the place of dreams.
Yes.
Well, I used to have kids at Maury Gardens come to me, started working for me in grade 9.
Yeah.
And would last all the way through university, or even when they went to university, come back every summer, you know, basically help them go through university.
Mm-hmm.
And they come back afterwards like lifelong friends, right? But you're part of them.
Yeah.
You know what they do. I have lawyers, scientists.
Well, that's the beauty of a small town is that people get to know each other and they remember each other.
Right.
You can't kind of get lost in the rush, right?
Right.
You
It
never
just
know when
is-
you're going to need help, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You can't be isolated. You can't be an island. You got to have people. You got to help people. You never know when you're going to need help yourself.
Right.
You know, it's just being kind and being nice and being courteous to your neighbor. Mm-hmm. Really. And I found that being a relatively newcomer, only when I met Tony, that I spent more time in Niagara-on-the-Lake. There's a different environment here. This is a whole different atmosphere. Here people care about each other and their town. Even today, don't want to get political. Don't want to hear, you know, like I don't want to get into the news. But look at how the residents of Niagara-on-the-Lake are standing up for what they feel is right for them and their town.
Yeah.
They have a word. They have a say here, and they're not afraid to say it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Admire that.
Yeah. That's one thing that I love about it. Like I think that no matter what you want progress, right? Like everybody's kind of like, there's been a lot of change. I think like the world has changed a lot in the last 10 to 20 years, some major change, but somehow Niagara-on-the-Lake has kept its charm. Right. And I think that that's the thing that really drew us in here, that we love so much about it, is it has this charm, this small town feel. And like you said, people helping each other. You know, you're telling your story about Morey Gardens, and you forgot to mention Morey Gardens. The only thing you talked about was involvement in the community.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
and by the way, I was running a business too.
Well, when I go to Andrew's,
You can tell where her heart is.
Exactly.
subdivision, okay, where he's living in Garrison, and we walk around, we know that we're all customers of Morey Gardens. And we have done, like design, but it's making people happy. When they come to the garden center, I mean, they're always happy. We made people, even during COVID, we had one very special customer that said, I want to come, but I don't want to come when everybody's there. I said, that's okay. I hang around for an hour after work. Why don't you come shop when when we're closed?
Yeah.
And I even had the Prime Minister, Brian Mulroney, come be one of my customers.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So it was pretty cool, really.
Yeah.
So people from Toronto, everybody knows Niagara-on-the-Lake, right? So we'd have people stop. And I think as a business, running a business, the most satisfying thing is people are happy with your service, and also they repeat, they're loyal to you. So it's always nice too.
Yeah, I like that. And one of the things that you said that you did was for graduations and stuff like that, you would beautify the school. And it's funny because when you walk into an event or something like that, or a party, and it's, you know what I mean? Like if there's nothing there but a handful of people, you know, like the way it feels. And then when you go in and there's flowers everywhere and it's got that smell, it does. It changes the environment.
I think you really know how hard it is to make a gym look good.
Yeah.
But she can pull it off because I've seen it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, we did a lot of old barn weddings and stuff. We did rentals too, a lot of rentals. And for schools and things, we did it for free because it was just, a community thing, right?
Yeah.
You did it for free.
And you got in Netflix too.
I was in Netflix, and I was in a Victoria's Secrets commercial. Yes, I was also in another movie with Bette Midler, Lake Winds. We were in the movie there.
Yeah.
It's only the plants that come in the movie.
Yeah. You're in the credits, though.
My guys all wanted to deliver the plants when we were at Victoria's Secrets commercial. But
So what was it on Netflix that you guys were in?
oh, we do the scenery behind. We did a Netflix movie that was Christmas Inheritance. That was shot at the Grand Victorian.
Okay.
And we decorated the whole upstairs as Christmas in March.
Yeah.
We did that, and we donated. Like a lot of movie places came in and bought plants and stuffed them around.
Okay.
For movies.
So did you guys then sell Morey's Gardens or just close it?
We didn't sell. We the property sold.
Yeah.
Myself, I owned only the retail part of Morey. It was Morey Gardens.
Yeah.
But Morey Nurseries was the people that owned the property.
Okay.
So they sold the property. And my lease, it was an opportune time for me to leave. I had a little bit longer on my lease, but because Perridiso was starting up.
Paradiso starting to take over.
It was really the right time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the right time.
Yeah.
Right?
It all started with that first glass of wine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
and that smooth, deep talking voice, right?
Yeah, but you speaking of beautified, you beautified Paradiso pretty
I
well.
was just going to say that.
You know, in the last 12 months, it's done a huge facelift.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
honestly,
butt lift.
I've been there, and if you haven't been to Paradiso, anyone watching this that hasn't been to Paradiso, like you got to go. You can give a little plug for what how to book a tasting or how you do it, but it's spectacular. I've been there with Andrew.
For
you
the
guys
first
have done
client party, you guys came.
Yeah.
What a beautiful spot you guys have there. It's just amazing.
That's why, in some ways, it's not so hard to leave Morey Gardens because
Yeah.
all the gardens that we have there, and more will be coming. But it's just really makes people really happy to be around there. And
It's like a transformation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You sort of still have what's yours from there that you bring over to Perridiso, and you just continuously see it grow and evolve and change, which I know Tony's very personal about that.
Yeah.
She loves the fact that she can continue doing what she loves doing.
Right.
Well, you've gone from one passion project to another.
yeah.
Right?
And we
Are
love
you talking about me?
Wait,
passion project.
Yeah, exactly.
it is a project.
In progress.
But we both love being with people too, and meeting new people and finding their story, and it's
Yeah.
great because, like, really, in Niagara-On-The-Lake is a wealth of
Yeah.
people, and their backgrounds are incredible. So yeah, it's really special.
I love that
Yeah.
portion of it. Is that so? We have some B&Bs, and that's the part of it that I like the most. Is that you actually like get to meet some pretty interesting characters.
amazing.
People come from all over the world here.
Yes.
It's actually shocking some of the people that end up here and how they end up here. And you guys must hear just some incredible stories.
Well, that's what we found out as well. The people that come from everywhere, just, it's intriguing.
Yeah, it is.
Intriguing.
Yeah, and I, you know what? Go back to Niagara-On-The-Lake just for 1 second about why there's so much involvement. Like Joe said, a lot of people are retiring here, but they have talent,
Yes.
lifelong talents, lifelong businesses that they grew up, and they are just donating their time.
Yeah.
And they're on. Yeah, that's what's making the town even better.
I never thought of it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, especially in our business of real estate, we have so many people coming to us that want to retire here. That's their dream to be here.
Yeah,
But they work somewhere else. Their talents were somewhere else for 20, 30 years. And then they come here, and then this is where they retire. It's the dream to be here and to retire here, right? So, yeah, I never even thought of like why the pool of people that we have here. Some people are here, born here or from here, but go somewhere else
Right.
for a career, but their dream is to come back.
To come back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good point.
Speaking of dreams, what's the future holding for Perridiso?
Well, I right now we're just concentrating on getting the grapes off of the vine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Put
that
them
time
in
of year.
vats. It's that time of year. We are in no rush to just drive forward into the unknown. We will wait to see how 1 year goes at a time, one harvest at a time. We're comfortable. We're not stressed out about life and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think we
yeah.
live in a pretty nice place. So if things evolve and change and happen, we're going to accept it and go with it. But we're not going to force any issues to be what they're not supposed to be.
I love it.
We're going to take nature and just whatever nature gives us, we're going to work with.
I love it.
I think they call that living the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Ah,
Day by day, enjoy what you got.
Yep.
Live in the moment.
Right?
that's right, Evan. That's a good
Yeah.
point.
You guys got it made.
Well, that's part of the slogan that we live by. If we embrace nature, we love life, and we drink great
Drink
wine.
good wine.
Yeah.
That's on the back of our bottle.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you share that with us every time someone has a drink of wine.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure.
I agree.
The wine is amazing. Your stories were equally amazing. I loved hearing a little bit more about you guys. And
Yeah, we've met you a few times
Yeah.
and
Yes.
never really knew your story, so it's always interesting to learn a little bit more about everybody.
Thank you. we
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
as
we
well.
really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So where can we, or well, I know where to find you. Where can they find you?
Where can they find us, Tony?
Google?
I am not a technical.
We said Netflix.
If you Google, you'll find the right place.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
The
there's
right location.
3 Warner Roads.
It's 176 Warner Road
That's
in
right,
Niagara-on-the-Lake. But there are 3 Warner Roads.
Yeah.
Try ordering pizza.
Yeah.
But if you Google, you'll get the right one.
Yeah.
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 Google will find us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's amazing. Okay, well, guys, thank you so much
Pleasure.
for coming down. We
Absolutely.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you all for tuning in. I couldn't do it without you, and I certainly wouldn't want to. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Pleasure.
All right.
Are we got to walk out with some music? Should I walk out of here or what?
I think that was great. Yeah, thanks everybody.